It's a mountainous island providing 2 days of tarmac rallying over 203 stage miles, and because of the nature of the roads and the island itself, it's always a tough one. And so is the entry. Fabrizio Tabaton, Piero Liatti, Patrick Sniers and many more in the top 10 seeds. Former winner Fabrizio Tabaton with the Delta was seeded number 1. Robert Drugman's another Delta, seeded 2. And Piero Liatti, European champion-elect, another Delta at number 3. Right from the start, Fabrizio Tabaton became embroiled in a major tussle for the lead with Patrick Sniers. But in the afternoon heat, as the route brought the drivers back towards Funchal, Tabaton began to ease ahead of Sniers. It was when the Belgian driver hit trouble that Tabaton's lead was assured. He headed back towards the overnight halt as the front runner, with a lead of some 20 seconds now over the man behind him in second place, and that was no longer Patrick Sniers. Robert Drugman's lasted only 4 stages, and then the Delta developed a large hole in the block. Drugman's returned to rally headquarters in a taxi. Piero Liatti had only been to Madeira once before and didn't finish. As the first day developed, the man most likely to scoop the European title found himself sitting in second place. His title hopes required only a third place finish to stay on target, although outright victory here would wrap up the championship as well. Patrick Sniers was delayed by road penalties, then by a broken drive shaft. From being rally leader, he dropped back to third, almost 2 minutes behind. Carlos Beca, though top-placed Portuguese driver, was having severe gearbox troubles and fighting to hold on to 4th place. Behind him came John Bosch and the BMW M3, 22 seconds behind in fact, and running with no problems. Also running with no less than 4 minutes in hand over the man in 6th place, Carlo Galli, who was the leader of Group N, indicating severe problems for Ramon Farayos. Farayos endured a catalogue of disasters, including dead electrics and missed services, and was delayed by over 5 minutes to be 9th overall. Carlo Galli with the Delta Racing Sierra Cosworth was the front runner in Group N. 7th overnight went to the highest place Celica after Santos retired on stage 3 with turbo and power steering problems. Americo Campos and the Team Vespa's Golf GTI were holding up well on the tarmac mountain roads. While the major struggles at the front of the rally continued, those local drivers further down the running order still found plenty of support for their efforts. Fabrizio Tabaton began day 2 defending a lead which amounted to no more than 25 seconds with just less than half the total distance completed. Liatti didn't need to win, but 25 seconds was still a closable gap. There was plenty of opportunity to make a mistake, as some of the midfield drivers, like Dominic Brunel here, discovered in the early part of the day. Antonio Abel was heading towards a 6th place finish with the 309 GTI, though he was half an hour behind Tabaton, who was charging unhindered in the lead. And heading towards the finish line for an eventual 5th place was Americo Campos and the Golf GTI. His 26-minute gap to the rally leader was a substantial margin, but Campos would be pleased enough to collect the honour of being the first Portuguese driver across the finish line. And now, 4th overall, with a hired car and a co-driver he first met only 10 days earlier, was Peruvian Ramon Farias, leader of Group N. John Bosch followed Piero Liatti, who was trailing oil from a leaky pipe, which made things somewhat more interesting than they might otherwise have been. But Bosch, who grabbed second place very briefly from the down-on-power Delta, was happy enough to collect third and the FISA B seed that went with it. Surely destined to become European champion this year, Liatti was struggling with a massive oil leak and a power loss. 5 minutes behind Tabaton, he settled for a comfortable second place and the 300 championship points that went with it, having no real need to do any more than that. Tabaton's major problem as he drove the Delta well within its capabilities was maintaining his concentration in the sweltering heat. When the pressure is off and the drivers can afford to relax, that is the time to be wary. That's when the mistakes can happen in any form of motorsport, not just rallying. But Tabaton made no errors. In fact, neither he nor the Delta had made any mistakes at all in the 2 days, and they came to the finish for a copybook win. Tabaton arrived at the ramp ahead of Liatti, Bosch and Farias, all well satisfied with their finishing positions. And that's our finishing position too. There's more from Motorsport News next week. Join us then.